And welcome back. I'm Miranda Kahn. Time now to take a look at your global headlines. Authorities have now arrested at least 18 people in Kosovo on terror-related charges after a deadly shooting in Macedonia. Officials say some 30 people are under arrest. Police clashed with an armed group of fighters yesterday, leaving dozens dead. Several houses in that neighborhood, as you can see right here, were destroyed in that fight. Over now to Switzerland. Police say a gunman who killed 4 people before taking his own life targeted members of his own family. The 36-year-old shot his in-laws, brother-in-law, and a neighbor before turning the gun on himself. Police say he was separated from his wife and 3 children. Sweden's Supreme Court rejects an appeal today made by WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. The 43-year-old wanted the detention order lifted, but Sweden's High Court says it will uphold the arrest warrant. Assange is wanted for questioning in connection to allegations of sexual assault. England's Prince Harry says he's at a crossroads in his life. The 30-year-old says he wants to have a normal job and hopes to start a family.
You know, there comes times when you think, right, now's the time to settle down, or now's not, whatever the way it is. But I don't think you can force these things. It will happen when it's going to happen. Of course, I'd love to have kids right now, but yeah, there's a process that one has to go through.
Prince Harry says he still hasn't met his new niece, but says he's looking forward to holding her soon.
Poor Prince Harry. Sounds a little lonely there, doesn't he?
It does sound sad. He's only 30.
I mean, if you're going to be a royal, I think it's better. I would prefer to be the number 2 as opposed to Prince William, who has a lot more stress, I think, a lot more pressure to be.
He seems a little more of the wild child. Like, he has fun. I mean,
yeah, there's
Harry's
exploits are somewhat legendary, I guess. Around
I'm sure he's going to get flooded now with all these letters and emails.
I doubt he's struggling for attention. He may be just having a hard time finding the right.
The right.
Yes. Kate Middleton too is a tough, hard shoes to fill.
That's true. You
Quite
think he's trying to be a little competitive?
Well, you've got to. I mean, you got the entire British press that are out there. Anyway, we got to move on. Let's talk about some polls, Miranda. We teased these polls, and we talked about this a little bit prior on the show here. What do they mean for the race? Not really as much as they mean for the political conversation, both on Capitol Hill and on the campaign trail. Let's talk about a new poll that shows Jeb Bush losing his lead. Voters were asked if the 2016 New Hampshire primary was held today, who would they vote for? And you see the results right here. Rand Paul and Scott Walker both out in the lead. Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio very close behind. And Donald Trump coming in there at 8%. And what's interesting, Miranda, you see the difference between the Iowa voters and the New Hampshire voters. Huge difference. And
but Jeb Bush hasn't even officially announced. I'm sure those numbers are going to go up considerably.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, that's what they say. And traditionally, you get that bump once you announce your candidacy. And we've seen that with other candidates. But Jeb Bush has been out there so much, talking so much. Is there really going to be anything new once he officially has his campaign? Is that going to lead to these numbers? And the things he is saying are very different than what a lot of the other candidates are saying, and it may not suit him.
It could work for him or against him, but especially like issues like immigration that he was talking about on Fox this weekend.
Yeah.
He has a much different stance than his counterparts.
But as a lot of our friends here on the show have reminded us, that Jeb Bush is running a general election campaign in the primary. It's counterintuitive. Will it work? Time will tell. At least the polls show right now a little headwind.
All right, let's look at another poll. Washington University Battleground poll shows Americans aren't happy with some of their potential presidential choices. So let's take a look at that. 60% wouldn't consider Jeb Bush for president. 51% wouldn't consider Hillary Clinton. Joe Biden, 59% wouldn't consider him for president. Those are considered to be, by some, as the front runners.
Yeah, and two of those candidates have not even announced their race.
It's still early on, though.
And Joe Biden, kind of a long shot even to get in the race. Let's take a look at another Rasmussen report survey. And for the first time in months, this one's taking a look at healthcare. Government should require us to buy health insurance. 37% of the people in this survey said that. 52%, however, said government should not require us to buy health insurance. Interesting here. We just heard from Mark Meckler talking about personal responsibility. Do you think, Miranda, that whether or not the government provides subsidy, we have a responsibility to have health insurance in this country?
Why do I feel like I'm in the hot seat with you? Do you feel, if you were running right now, what would be your stance on that? I don't think they're going to repeal. I'll say this: I don't think that they're going to repeal Obamacare.
Yeah,
I just
everybody
don't
should
think
pay
it's going to happen. I think there'll be
something.
tweaks to it, but I don't think they're going to repeal it.
Yeah, everybody should pay something. Maybe the government, not the best person to.
But I also think a lot of people that are for it will say, you're going to pay for it now, or you're really going to pay for it later.
Well, we'll see.
I'll
When
leave
it
it at
comes
that.
to companies safeguarding your online information, millennials are the most trusting group, according to Gallup. Businesses are keeping my personal information private. Millennials say, that's the question. Millennials say 44%, Generation X says 32%, and baby boomers surprisingly have the same opinion as Generation X. I guess you could say, and apologies to all millennials out there, they might be a little bit naive.
Ooh. Somebody,
maybe-
Justin, I'm looking at Justin, one of our camera operators. How do you feel about that? He just called you naive.
I'm not saying anybody in particular.
No, I know.
Just maybe as a whole.
Maybe, I bet. They'll probably
right.
change their mind as they get older and wiser like
More coming
John.
up here on Newsmax Now. We'll take a look at the top stories of the day right after this.